and welcome. Today we have Dr. Donavan Ramon, Assistant Professor of Liberal Studies at Kentucky State University with us as we discuss our 3 questions with a strategic focus. Welcome, Dr. Ramon.
Thank you. Thank you, Doug, for having me.
So, Dr. Ramon, with a lot of people talk about professors and working from home and things of that nature, tell me, how do you manage your time?
I manage my time by actually waking up early and having plans for my day. So what I do before I go to bed, I make a list of what I have to do the next day. Then I wake up early, I have my checklist, I check everything off, and then I move to the next thing. One thing that I should say is that when it comes to time management, it's gotten harder now because of COVID. It's gotten much, but one thing I pride myself on, I'm able to wake up early, have a checklist, check them off, and then move on to the next thing.
So how is it that with time management, how do you engage with different breaks? Because we all know that different things come throughout the day. People work with you, call you, text you, things of that nature. How do you really handle all that?
I devote one specific time for the day to respond to everybody else. So I get emails all day long. I don't have to respond right away. I get text messages all day long. Again, I don't have to respond right away. So I would devote a certain amount of time, like when I have maybe an hour or two, to just sit down and read all the messages. Because honestly, you can spend all day responding to texts and posts and emails. I don't have all day. In addition to being a father, in addition to being a professor, I'm also a father. I'm a mentor. I'm a part of Urban League Young Professionals, which helps me with mentoring and networking and all that good stuff. So in order for me to manage my time, I have to devote a certain amount of time to responding to emails. That's why I let them pile up. That way, if they pile up, I just say, okay, I'm going to devote maybe 6 to 7 or 7 to 8 in the evening when I don't have to devote a lot of brain power to responding to what people need.
So for you, multitasking does not work.
Right. It does not work. It does not. I'm much better at linear thinking, one thing at a time, and move from one task to another. Because I'm going to forget something.
And that is one of the things that I teach our clients, not to focus on trying to do that multitasking thing, because like you said, it really doesn't work because you have to devote your level of brain power to a specific task at all times.
Absolutely.
So with that being in mind, we started talking about the multitasking and meeting with people and things of that nature. What is it that you do to help network yourself and making sure that you are part of a strong network that helps you in your professional and personal lives?
So I'm a member of the Urban League the Lexington Urban League Young Professionals, and you know what the Urban League is? It's the Young Professionals is one category, one subcategory of the Urban League. And young professionals consist of people of color who are young professionals, from recent college graduates up to, I believe, age 40. And we have a bunch of events. We network with each other. We come together once a month to support Black businesses. We patronize Black businesses. But I stepped up last year to do the professional development. I chair the professional development committee. And in that particular role, I get to put on events that promote professional development for members of our community. We had discussions about resume workshop, resume building, about credit repair. I also do the book club for the Urban League Young Professionals, and everything we do is feed open to the public. So in that regard, I get to network because I'm part of the Urban League Young Professionals of Lexington. But professionally, there are different professional groups that I'm a part of as an English professor. The two that I'm most active in are SAMLA, the South Atlantic Modern Language Association, and NEMLA, the Northeast Modern Language Association. Those 2 organizations are really for folks who study literature from all countries and all categories, and I'm an active member in both.
As a professor of English, when in terms of networking with other English professors, how do you go about doing that mostly? Are you guys more insular? You have your conferences and things of that nature?
Right. So the 2 organizations I mentioned, SAMLA and NEMLA, they have yearly conferences. So I go to those conferences every year. And at those conferences, I get to mingle with other professors. We get to share ideas, share works with each other. And those are 2 yearly events. But throughout the year, there are folks that I communicate with regularly, other faculty members, typically faculty members of color from across the country, who I'm affiliated with through the Mellon Mays Undergraduate Fellowship. It was a program I was a part of as an undergrad. Through that, because of the Mellon Alumni Network, I'm able to communicate with faculty throughout the year. We share ideas, we network, we promote each other's works, and then we all culminate every year at the conferences.
So how has networking helped you professionally?
Oh, it's helped me. Oh, yeah. In terms of professionally, it has helped me think through my ideas for my research projects. And as an English professor, I have to publish regularly in order to advance my career. Networking, speaking to other people, has certainly helped me think through ideas for my research, and certainly has helped me with teaching. Of course, one of the things we do as professors is teach. Networking has by networking with other people, I've learned different teaching strategies, different teaching styles, different ways of reaching my students, particularly teaching students of literature in the 21st century. So it's definitely helped me in terms of how I teach. It's improved my teaching skills and improved my ability to think critically about my research ideas.
Now, what are some of the mistakes that you see people making when it comes to networking?
What are some of the
Mistakes that you see people making when it comes to networking?
being insular, being shy, not wanting to network, thinking that if they network too much, someone's gonna take their ideas and run with them. Particularly as professors, our careers are built upon our ideas. And if you have this idea, if you have this mentality that if I network with you and potentially share my ideas, you might run with it, that's going to hinder your growth. It's a risk you have to take, especially in the field that we're in. So one major mistake, folks being insular, thinking they could do it all. Another mistake, folks believing that because of COVID and because everything is now online, we don't have to network. If there's some networking events you could do online through what we're doing, through Zoom or through Google Hangouts, don't let COVID or anything else stop you from networking, because you never know what types of inspiration or what types of professional advancement you might find.
And speaking of networking, how are you marketing your book with your fellow professors?
Well, right now, the book will be coming out next year. Betraying the Code of Descent will be published hopefully next summer. And so my way of networking right now, I haven't said much about it yet because the book is not out. But when it gets closer to the date of the publication date, I'll be going to conferences I mentioned before. I'm going to send out emails and call my friends who are other faculty members and say, hey, my book's coming out. Buy my book. Please buy it. And if you don't like it, at least tell somebody else to buy it. More importantly, I'll ask them if they could tell their libraries about my book, because university libraries, they would buy it and keep it on hand. Okay? Really going to conferences, promoting it, talking to folks I know who would be interested, sending emails out, calls, and a lot of the marketing will come from the publisher, which will be University of Missouri Press. They do a lot of the marketing themselves. My part is to help with that marketing by letting people I know personally, hitting them up, letting them know, hey, my book is coming out, please buy it. And tell your school to do the same thing.
So who's this book marketed to? Mostly other professors, university students and things, people of that nature?
University students. My field of study is African American literature. The topic is racial passing in American literature. So it's really devoted to, well, more completely, the topic is applying psychoanalysis, the theory of psychoanalysis, to racial passing narratives in American literature. So it could be, I think the book will be of interest to folks who study psychoanalysis or African American literature or American literature or 20th century literature broadly conceived, because all the texts take place in the 20th century or are published in the last century. So I would say anyone who's interested in any of those fields, and my guess would be it's undergraduate students, graduate students, and other professors.
Okay. So with your book, what's the hardest thing about writing it?
The hardest thing about writing it was actually doing all the research and the writing. What I mean by that is, as professors, some professors who are at, say, four-year institutions, who are at institutions that have graduate programs, perhaps, those professors get to have graduate students who will help them with their research. I'm at a school that we do not have graduate students, so I had to do all the research myself and also do the research for the book and the writing of the book. And in addition to that, I'll say another part that's really difficult is getting readers' reports. Readers' reports just mean feedback from other faculty members. It's anonymous. So professors could be brutally honest in what they think of your book. So in the early drafts, getting their feedback and hearing their brutally honest feedback that's anonymous was a little bit disheartening, but I had to take the good with the bad. They said some good things about my work that improved it to get it to the state that it's in today.
So when it comes to terms of writing, how has your writing style changed over the years?
I've gotten much better because I've gotten better at my time management. If early when I was a grad student and right after I graduated, I'm just used to writing everything against the deadline, like writing everything at the last minute because the deadline is approaching. That is not the way to approach professional writing. That is not how you do it. So I'm better at my writing by planning ahead. As we talked earlier about what my time management skills are, they consist of writing what I have to do each day, waking up early and checking off what I have to do on that off that list. My writing has definitely gotten better because one, I'm reading other people's writing, other professors' writings, but two, personally, I'm able to manage my time a lot better. I can't write at last minute. The type of professional writing I do requires me to write a little bit at a time for months at a time rather than wait until an upcoming deadline.
So for you, your writing is a combination of both your time management as well as your networking. Because
Absolutely.
obviously you have to, manage your time in terms of making sure that you have the sufficient time and research to
Mm-hmm.
do your work, as well as, network to get back your feedback and get ideas from others. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Time management is super important for every field, especially ours as professors, and especially now because of COVID. Everything
Mhm.
is online, but we can't take that for granted. We still have to be rigid about about waking up early, accomplishing things, making lists, and getting our tasks done.
And now, as a professor, what do you do in terms of the administrative roles and the management side of things that most people don't really consider a quote unquote professor doing?
Mm-hmm. Well, my administrative roles at this point are minimal. I'm an assistant professor, and once I get tenure, becoming an associate professor, I'll take on more administrative roles. For right now, the most I do, I'm on the faculty senate at my school, and on faculty senate, it's just a governing body for the university to make policies for the university. Those meetings tend to happen on Friday, which means I could devote Thursday afternoons to reading and responding to what I need to do for Friday morning. So my way of time management, again, is really relating to what I said earlier in the conversation. I devote a chunk of time to the different tasks I have to do. So in the evening times, I'll maybe devote maybe an hour or two from 6 to 7 or 7 to 8, whatever, in the evenings to answering email. But as I know that tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock is our faculty senate meeting, I'm going to devote tonight to reading whatever I need to read for that meeting. So I guess what I'm saying is that if you know you have upcoming deadlines and upcoming tasks for a committee, you don't have to do it a little bit at a time. For that, if you know what the tasks are, devote a chunk of time to read and respond to what you have to for the upcoming administrative stuff. That's my only administrative role now. I would like to take on more roles in the future, but I don't want to take them on too much right now. As I'm an assistant professor, I need to focus on reading and writing, and then I could get my tenure and then move on up and take on more roles.
Well, Dr. Ramon, it was a pleasure speaking with you today with
Thank you.
3 questions with a strategic focus. And I look
Mm-hmm.
forward to hearing more about your book and your continued success. Thank
Absolutely. I
you.
appreciate the conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, and have a good day.